What is going on, guys? Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show, including the mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. What is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we're going to be hitting a whole lot of subjects, so stick around. We'll be right back. All right. What is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. This is a live call-in show. In fact, the only live call-in show somewhere. With that out of the way, I want to make sure you guys know today's show is brought to you by NordVPN. It helps us grow, and again, we are trying to build our own platform, so it is very helpful when you guys support our affiliates. They are all good ones. Remember, you can protect yourself with NordVPN. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. All right, let's get into it. If you've never been here before, this is a live call-in show. In fact, again, to get the notifications, a lot of people miss them. You can go here to marfooglenews.com and sign up for our actual push notifications. On top of that, you can follow along. We're going to be covering a lot of stories today, and you can actually go to our website and follow along every single story, every single document, every single video, every single tweet that we show you here. You get to know where the source of it is. You get an archive of everything, a bibliography of sorts of everything we're going to show you here today. So right here on our website, you'll see it's very easy organized by thumbnail, torn apart. Now, this is actually more serious than you think. Everything sacred will be gone. When you click on that, it will go and bring you to this where it has all of the articles. So with the second device, you can actually grab your tablet and you can read the rest of the articles if we only hit half of it, or you can go back retrospectively and share it or whatever you want to do with it. On the right side of that page there is all of the ways to support us, including PayPal. Again, your PayPals will be read on the next show, including all of that kind of stuff is over there as well. All right, and then let's bring in Dex. Dex is my co-host / internet brother. What is going on, Dex, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. Doing just fine.
So, lots of stuff to talk about here. Obviously, some people see this and think, oh, it's, some sort of tabloid thing. There's a different point here to be made. We're going to be going into this kind of in the middle of it, but the royal family is even getting torn apart. Now, this is pretty serious because you're talking about everything around us is changing, including the old ways of everything. We're talking about the royal family literally being scrutinized, and this modern age world is now not, now they're going after the royal family. They said that basically there's a lot of things wrong with the royal family. Of course, Harry and Meghan Markle, which have been on every tabloid for years, have basically said that they don't feel protected by the royal family, that Meghan has all these issues, and said that basically the royal family's backwards and they are stuck in in those separation days, color separation days, that there's a lot of stuff that goes on there, and that there was basically some racist activity there. So what the main point I want to make here is that everything that we know is changing, and rapidly. I mean, we're talking about everything you knew of just a few decades ago is now not only disappearing, but getting scrutinized, changed, deleted, torn down, torn apart, criticized, canceled. This is how the world is now, and it's really scary, and I think that most of you guys know this. I started the show because I was scared about a lot of the stuff that was going around, and I could see through all of the BS, and I see through some of this. I don't know if somebody, as far as this goes, we'll talk about it in here in a minute, but there's so much more that is happening right now, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The entire world is changing, from Gilly Bates to farmland to the mystery meat that we're probably going to be eating in a couple of years, to the future, the future that is said where we will own nothing and we will be happy. That is, of course, the words of a very powerful group that's about to own the planet. So pretty scary stuff. Now, this is pretty crazy. It says, wait, this mysteriously heavily armored blue train caboose belongs to the Navy. It says the Navy is a prolific user of nuclear power and needs to protect nuclear material when traveling by rail. That's where this armored caboose comes in. Now, this is pretty crazy because I just wonder how many people have seen this recently. It says, when one thinks of the U.S. Navy, ships and submarines and fast fighter jets probably quickly springs to mind. Armored rail cars, probably not so much. It says those sound more like the stuff of spaghetti westerns, W2 history books, and of course Steven Seagal movies. But after investigation spurred by rail spotters, not only being able to make sense of a mysterious blue painted armored caboose, we learned that this year the Navy, in cooperation with the Department of Energy, is set to begin using a new fleet of heavily armored cabooses, specially outfitted to escort trainloads of sensitive nuclear material. Dex, did you think the same thing when you saw this as I did, as far as why are they reverting back to old ways of traveling? I don't know if
it caught me by surprise, but we hear about or we see, and everybody reports to us all the time about, this is moving on a train, that's moving on a train, from the military. But to now think about some of the more higher end assets, if you want to call them that they really have to be protected. Now, I guess that sort of makes sense that this would be here. And then, moving on a rail is sort of old fashioned, right? As opposed to flying it in a plane or moving it on a ship.
Let me ask you this. Do they still have coal powered trains or I guess gas what would
most of them are diesel powered, and they actually run on electricity. The diesel is just a generator to charge the batteries. The battery drives the train.
So my question is if we had a serious EMP or something like that, or solar flare, would they be able to use these instead? Or a serious earthquake or some event that harmed our infrastructure as far as roads go?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of protection they have on the locomotive end of the train, the front end that's driving, and whether or not it would be able to withstand it. I would think that they would be worried about that and be looking to do that because that, the older forms of transportation are probably the most, probable to survive or to be easily survivable in an EMP situation.
Well, now they're talking about bringing back old planes, bringing back. They're practicing with old fighters, as far as like 1960s and 1950s fighters. I just think it's really weird that this is what is going on. As far as nuclear materials getting moved around by train, what do you guys think? Put it in the comments below or put it in the chat right now. We're going to go say hi to a few people. Thank you, Veteran Steve, for being here early. For Sunny Beach Girl, Chance Bowden, and Vault 111, thanks for shouting out others. And then for Lady Green Eyes and Stoplight, again, Veteran Steve, thank you for your support. For Phil, Billy, Team Ramrod, and I Love Beagles. You guys are awesome. All of you, all of those names are awesome, and they're almost here every night. We have some new followers. MLT just followed, through Mentari and SMR Patriot. Thank you so much for coming in. And End Times, what's going on? Just gifted a subscription to Phil Billy, so thank you. And then over on my YouTube side, I've got all sorts of great people over here. We've got Wizardry, we've got Sean S., we've got Ilea, Kelly Henson, we've got Pray Lee, BD Carmen, Devil's Reject, we've got Maria, what's going on? Julie Malcolm, Charles Crowley, hey, how are you doing? Hey, how are you as well? And then Resurrection, what is going on? And of course Murphy's Law, old school. GeoHuff is here again. Sandra in Texas, nice to see you tonight. And then Diane Mounts, thank you all for coming, and thank you all for being on time. I'm super glad to see all of you. I just sent out another thank you on community post. We are about to hit 140,000, and I cannot say thank you enough. Thank you for each one of those people that has joined us. I've always told people each subscriber is a person, and that is a huge deal. And, of course, make sure to check if you're subscribed. They've cleaned a lot of subscribers out. In fact, if anyone looks, we lose about 150 to 200 to 300 a day. we gain that same amount. It's kind of weird. It's set up so we stay the same and barely get over it. What's weird is we're not getting like 300 complaints a day, like, you suck, or, especially on a Saturday when we're not even doing a show, we're not offending anybody. So there shouldn't be that many lost. So what's going on there? You could probably take a guess. So we basically, in our niche, it's kind of more about gaining more than you lose. So thank you, everybody that has joined us recently. And then, of course, massive explosion rocks Equatorial Guinea's largest city. It says the city of Bata in Central African nation has been devastated by a blast that supposedly came from a nearby military base. It says details remain very limited at this time, but the largest city in Equatorial Guinea, Beta, experienced a large explosion. And of course, it says that it flattened buildings and killed at least 17, with hundreds more being injured. It says it is thought that the incident occurred on or near a military base, near where the barracks are located. Of course, dramatic footage shot in the blast aftermath shows widespread destruction and stunned bystanders. So this is yet another kind of off and weird explosion happening. One theory that I did hear is, obviously there's nothing in Dex. Do we have any updates right before the show? Is there any?
Well, the one thing that the president came out of that country or location, Obang, I believe is how you say the name, and said it was caused by negligence on their part related to stuff that explosives they have at the base.
Was it a fireworks factory?
Any other details about it? So.
Maybe it was a fireworks factory, Yeah. Maybe they had some old potatoes and fireworks sitting around and kaboom. It seems very odd. And then, of course, there's already, of course, videos surfacing of this. It says the Central African country is now a relatively tiny military force and is an energy producer. Oddly enough, is an energy producer. Although many of its people still live in extreme poverty, many secondary structures in Bata were not built well and would be particularly susceptible to a shockwave from a blast like this. Basically saying that some of these places are almost shacks and they just got flattened. Very, very sad, and I'm praying for the 17 that lost their lives, and I'm also praying for the many that are injured, and hopefully that number does not go up. On top of that, though, of course, we're going to keep looking into it. Just because it's in somewhere that's far off does not mean that we should pay attention. I think that the world is kind of getting experimented on. We do have confirmation and factual, backed up by authoritative sources, that they have now weaponized space. So it is completely common sense and logical to think that there is a possibility that now space weapons could be a part of any kind of event like this, especially when you don't have an official thing yet, right? So the official thing that they're saying is saying that this was neglect. Well, that was kind of what was said about this last big, thing that everybody talked about for months and kind of destroyed a city. So there's a lot to be said here, and just not a lot there except for some of the videos that kind of popped up here. So you can go to the website, marfooglenews.com. You have a link to that. And then, of course, you can go straight through to some of those videos. Again, pretty crazy stuff. And then we have, of course, the Pentagon promises Arrow hypersonic missile will make first flight within 30 days, saying that this thing is going to be here and very soon. It says, as the U.S. struggles to bring the first hypersonic missile online, Russia is preparing to test what may be its fourth such weapon. And China already has its hypersonic missiles ready for deployment. One question is if they were really about to take each other out or something, right? China and Russia supposedly are ahead of us. I don't think that that's true. I think that this is all public, that they're publicly coming out with such weapons. I am sure that there's some sort of wild card here that we don't know about, some sort of space weapon or something that maybe they've even tested and shown off, but nobody else knows except for other governments. And if you know what I mean, like you've got the Russian government sitting in their situation room and the Chinese government sitting there. They've got analysts and they've got CIA. They've got their KGB. They've got their intelligence going, oh, no, this is America's new, or this is their blah, blah, blah weapon. And it's far superior to any hypersonic missile. There has to be. Otherwise, think about it. For a good chunk of time, you would think if they were ready to pull the trigger on that, they would do it well. Both of those enemy countries have an advantage. That's not mutually assured destruction if they can hit us in 5 minutes and we can't hit them for 30. I guess we could launch, right? I guess the goal would be to hit us before we can react. But is the time there yet? Is it that fast? Maybe it's not. Maybe we would still have time to react, so there's still mutually assured destruction. Which again, we've talked about just recently. There was lawmakers that were basically asking for President B to lose the ability to be the sole person to control our nuclear response or our nuclear, our abilities. So what that means is, China and Russia, they can basically press a button, they don't have to go check with somebody. But what certain lawmakers are asking and demanding, and people are backing them up on this, is saying that the current prez will not have the sole ability to launch or respond to a nuclear event. Now, what do you think about that? Do you agree or disagree? Press 1 right now in the chat if you agree with that statement, or 2 if you disagree with giving up that kind of time. Like now you're going to have to check with somebody, or you might have to go through a bureaucratic process to then respond to a nuclear event when you're talking about our enemies now have the ability to hit us faster than we have to hit them. Although I still believe we have secret stuff that they probably know about, but the public doesn't. I guess this would be an example of where it's now becoming public. 2, lots of 2s. A couple smart Alex zeros, and of course I'm sure there's going to. Oh, there's my 3s. Angel, I totally agree with you. With nothing, right? Santini, I also agree with you. Team Ramrod, secrets. Good for B2, any other. It's virtually all 2s there. And if you're watching the replay, you can always go to chat replay to see that. Haydn is not a real thing. So another part there is some even said maybe they don't want him specifically to have that kind of power. One thing that I found out today that I thought was really, really crazy is that the vice prez has actually done more face-to-face meetings with world leaders than any other, I believe up until this time date, she has actually set records for vice presidents going on face-to-face meeting with world leaders. So instead of the prez going out and meeting these leaders, she is. Now, I will actually get the backup for that and show you. Until then, you can look it up yourself, but I want to make sure that I prove that statement. I believe that, again, from what I've seen, it seems like even the president's wife and the vice president have gone on more meetings than the actual president himself. That's I thought that was very interesting. Interesting indeed. It says the U.S. Air Force will fire the AGM-183A air-launched rapid response weapon, or ARROW, the U.S. military's first hypersonic missile, in less than 1 month's time, according to a Friday press release. Again, it says the booster test vehicle is the rocket engine part of the hypersonic weapon, which accelerates the Arrow glide vehicle to speeds of excess of Mach 5 before dispatching the glide vehicle to fly towards its target. However, according to the release, the upcoming test is only of the rocket engine, not of the glide vehicle. Now, of course, we've covered Russia says that it even has some sort of low-flying missile that can basically avert all sorts of radar and can keep going forever because it's actually nuclear-powered, and it doesn't have to stop. It could go around the world over and over and over again. That's what was claimed, and I believe that was up to 2 years ago. I don't even know if that was... I think that was when he was first starting to say... we've got hypersonics. How did they get that before us? Did they grab one of the best scientists in the world and they ended up having those guys? Did we already have it? Did they steal it and then made it public? Basically saying, hey, we've got the stuff you had in secret. Why did they test this thing? If they already have something that strong, why did they test it? There's a lot of questions that I have that will never be answered because obviously this is top secret stuff. And of course, there's a lot of debate if it even exists. Of course, there is with other countries. Margie Crisold says, we don't know what is and what isn't anymore fake. Yeah, that's very correct. But what I also see is that they are trying to convince everybody to basically disregard anything and everything. I think that people need to use their guts a lot of the time and use their common sense. I even saw PBS. I could not believe what PBS has turned into, by the way. They did show after show. It was like 3 hours, and it was one of those times where you leave the TV on and you just don't change the channel and you're doing other stuff. I saw show after show after show yesterday that was just like, what is this? This isn't even PBS anymore. Like, I really couldn't believe it, actually. And they had all these different things, and definitely one of the most biased days I've seen on that channel. And it's obviously that, it has been far-reaching. Every media has been grabbed and kind of converted into this crazy thing. All right, if you do want to call in, remember the number is 2244000MARF. Again, that is the number to call is 2244000MARF. Remember to call in as soon as possible. We have Solomon on the phone. We're going to get to Solomon just here in a second. But first, I do want to remind you, if you would like to protect yourself against an EMP or even a solar flare, there's basically one company you should go to, EMP Shield, who has not only been contracted with companies and agencies like DOD and DHS, but is now officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. They are helping strengthen our grid. Now, you can actually get private protection for your home or for your car or for your ham radio or for your solar system. There's tons of different devices for different things at marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is legit. This is the Keystone military-tested device that you can actually count on. They tested it. They basically stopped after 42 times consecutively. So they tested it and hit it with basically 42 different EMPs. So this thing can actually keep going because EMPs come in waves. The car version, which is their most popular, is, of course, the easiest to install. In about 5 minutes, you can install it, and then it will ground the signal to your car frame before frying your device, so you're not stuck out in middle of nowhere. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/EMP. If you go through us, you can get upwards of $50 off per device. Again, make sure to go check that out. All right, Dex, let's pull on Solomon. Solomon is calling, of course. Apparently, we did a love mob and calling in from Michigan. So let's get Solomon on the phone.
Hey, Marfoogle fan. How are you guys doing?
Hey, what's going on? So did you call in and we love mobbed you, or did somebody else call in?
No, that was me. Excuse me. I called in.
Oh, well,
and
what's going on?
You guys sent over the love mob, and that was great. I just wanted to say thank you. That was amazing.
No worries. So let's pull up your channel real quick. What is your channel about?
Well, it's What's Up Next. We're doing comedy, kind of pointing out things in the world and making you think about it, but also making you laugh. We call it a break from reality, not a distraction. We don't want you to get stuck in it.
Well, I like it already. Let's pop this. Do you guys have a crew? It looks like you've got multiple people there.
Oh yeah, it's 4 of us right now.
This is awesome. I did. When was this? When did we love mob?
I think it was 3 weeks ago, maybe. I've been trying to call in and say thank you, but I haven't been able to get through.
Oh no, this is awesome. So I super encourage this, and I hope that all 4 of you guys are actually participating in this, because this is this is what we like to see. It's like when people are actually putting the effort in and putting out the videos and trying. So this is what's up next. Of course, this is Solomon, and we love Mobbed, and now they're almost to 250 subscribers. I hope that by the end of this show, they will be at 1,000. If they hit that, then that would really motivate them to start getting out there and making videos. Once they hit 1,000, they can actually monetize, but also can go live from their phones. So Solomon, what's next for you guys?
That's what we're trying to do.
What's next for you guys?
What's next for us?
Yes, I know that's your channel, but what's next? What are you guys planning?
Right now, we just have a couple more skits in the work, and we have a lot of filming that we're going to end up doing over the summertime for a lot of big things that we have planned. But we haven't really thought far out into the future. We're kind of taking it one day at a time, you know.
Well, you guys, are you all in Michigan, by the way?
Yes.
We're going to start, we might end up, I'm going to look at a few of your videos, but we might need your help because we wanted to do kind of an ad campaign to bring new people in. Of course, as you know, many people in our niche are kind of, I guess there's not that unnatural recommendation that you get if you're not marked already, if you know what I mean. So we're going to try to bring in some new people and do some sort of campaign that shows who we are and expose our channel to many more people. So might need some people to act with us and do some funny stuff and do some real stuff so we can kind of put out who we are. Well, thank you for calling in, Solomon. You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope you guys have a good night. Stay blessed, everybody.
All right, you have a good night and God bless. That was Solomon from What's Up Next. It's all one word, but it's got an apostrophe there. Make sure to go support. We've been supporting small channels since we began. Somebody made a comment that I used to do streams. I was in a channel called The Best Damn Podcast. He does a show that, in fact, if you liked my old show, you probably like his show. He has himself in the corner. I think he might have a green screen, if you guys remember when I used to do that. And then he talks about just stuff. I actually want to kind of get back to some of those shows. I might do some on D Live and just be more lax and pull up stuff and actually look at it and talk about it. I guess the bigger you get, it's a little bit harder to not have something fully put together because, you know, you have so many people to, I guess, expecting one thing and they see another. It takes time to know what you're doing as a channel, and I'm still not there. We ask for feedback. We understand that listening to you is one of the most important parts of this, and that's why we've made a lot of the changes we have over the years. People, first asked, your your audio is so crappy. I can't listen to it. I only listen through earphones, and it's crackly or this or that, or it's too loud at times. So then we upgraded audio. People said, well, I can't watch you on the big screen. It's very choppy. This is when I had a webcam that was really crappy. So it's like one thing at a time we've upgraded. And I hope channels like this grow. And I hope you guys actually support channels like this. This is the point of Love Mob. You can do something that changes somebody's life for absolutely nothing. So I hope everybody ends up doing that. All right, let's get moving on. Back to the news. What we learned from Meghan and Harry's interview. So this is, I don't know if, I personally think that there is some ulterior motive here behind these guys. And you can feel free to disagree with me, but I think there is something going on with all of the elites of the world. Personally, I think that everything is getting torn down. Any kind of old structure, the church, all of this is getting torn down. They are eventually going to cancel pretty much anything that was traditional. Do you guys agree or do you guys disagree? Let's see here. By the way, Heaven's Calling. Much love to the Foogle fam. Stay safe and God bless. Thank you. Holograms can't push a nuclear button, says Paige Nomad. And then, of course, like the Impractical Jokers but with the news. Lisa K23, I love it. What do you guys think as far as this goes? And then, of course, I hate cancel culture, says the NATO. Neutral Bass Turd says government wrote the Bible. Government wrote the Bible is what you said. Well, there's always been a government, so I guess that's partly true. Bones, George S., what's going on? Blina, Bobby Cresa, we stopped them. Mr. Floyd says absolutely. Daniel Thompson, don't let lizard grandma babysit. Meg is not a man. She is simply a ray. Definitely a bird. The moon is confounded. I guess we've got multiple conversations going on there. Janet Maz says we all need to stop staying silent. Speak up, America. Let's see here. Well, the thing is somebody says narcissism is right. No way I will give up my traditions. Uber Viking says the truth coming out. So I guess there's some people that see it all different ways. Mandy says Tom McDonald says it all. Which, by the way, I've been talking to Dex off camera about this. Tom McDonald is changing things for a positive way because if you are leading the iTunes charts and you are literally beating every single artist on the radio, all of those artists that are through those elite structures of record labels and everything else, if you are beating those structures out, and you are selling more than them, their God is the money, right? You are then telling them this is what people want, this is what's going to the top, and all of their goal is to get to the top. Now, that might make some of these people do these kind of things without meaning it. I hope that it actually opens a lot of eyes and inspires more artists that are talented to start doing that kind of stuff, or the stuff that they've wanted to do but were afraid to do. Whether you like Tom or not, there's no argument. Some of the stuff that he said in his last 3 or 4 songs, and in fact, if you go back 2 years ago, he was saying the same stuff, but he's now bigger and more viewed. He's getting it out there, and people agree with it, and that's a huge deal because that's what needs to be said right now. We need common sense, and that is not anywhere to be seen. We are seeing everything get torn up. From, just everything. Religion, there's half of the religions are protected and half aren't. That's not right. Pretty much the entire Constitution is being picked off one by one. And there are some that say it's because there is a bigger plan in place. There is something going on with the earth. There's something going on with the power structure up above. And they're saying, they're not going to like it, but we're going to have to change everything. Maybe there is a good reason or good intentions, but those intentions basically mean we have to take away these rights for everybody. Imagine that, where they say, hey, we have to get here in a certain amount of years. Say, just hypothetically, and I know a lot of you are fired up about that, but say they do have secret knowledge of the world going downhill climate-wise, and we have got 12 years to live, and maybe just hypothetically say it's true. They have to change a bunch of stuff, and if the rights that we have stay in place, there's no way it will happen because you won't be able to do any of that. Do you think if that was the hypothetical situation, or even the people in charge from up above were told that, do you think that then, if they were told that, they would agree to go, yeah, I guess we do have to take all of these rights away? Because those rights actually prevent further action. Just a question, and it's all hypothetical. AI is changing the world. Oh, that's a whole show in itself. Asteroid is coming at the end of March, says Jamie Turnage. Chewbacca 2020, what's going on? Sultan GT. Coled Steel. Meghan Markle is giving her Academy Award-winning performance. There's a lot of stuff there. Okay. Whoa. Jimmy Shively. Thank you, and thank you. Jimmy Shively just did a Ninja and says, only channel I'll donate to. Love all of you. Thank you. Keep sharing bright. Let there be light. Thank you, Jimmy Shively. We do not have a multi-channel network. We do not have a team of lawyers. We are truly independent. So we really appreciate your support, and you will actually be on a piece of artwork. Again, there is a club. Anyone who does that is actually going to get something special as far as a visual part of the show. Okay, included there is Amy R. We've got Gone Girl. We've got Veteran Steve, End Times, Kelly 2334. There's a small group of people that have done that. So thank you so much. Bad Allergies, thank you as well. Bear Claws, Toadman, Miss Me, all the way down to Just a Lemon. Thank you for your support. It all adds up. Captain Bartosa, thank you for following. Welcome new people as they come in. So in this interview, Prince Harry and his wife basically threw the royal family under the bus. It says Oprah's Winfrey's interview with Prince Harry and his wife, which, by the way, throw in Oprah in there, the Duchess of Sussex, had been teased for days. So it was a shock to find out when it aired Sunday night that it included a number of explosive revelations about the couple and their fraught relationship with the British royal family. For a while now, they've actually said that that these two have kind of been on the outskirts. Meghan Markle, of course, didn't come from royalty. She came from, Detroit, or I don't know where she's from, but she came from a city. She's not royalty. And it says, it's over the years, Harry has openly discussed mental health, grief, and other issues that in the past were taboo coming from a royal. This is something that, just wouldn't happen back then. It didn't. And then, of course, with the exception of a 2020 article in the New York Times opinion section about her miscarriage. Like, that's a big deal. This generation wouldn't understand why that's a big deal, but that wouldn't be talked about. That was completely taboo just a few decades ago. That's not something you don't even... In one way, I kind of relate the royal family and negative things said about the royal family to kind of NK, what they say about Kim, like, Kim doesn't poop. Of course, talking about the ruler of NK, right? The people think this of them. Now, I'm not saying it's that, crazy, but you just don't talk about the royal family in that way, especially if you're any kind of prominent figure. You don't talk about the royal family. And that's exactly what's happening here. It says one of the most revelatory moments of the CBS interview broadcast on Sunday night came when Meghan talked about contemplating, while living and working as a member of the British royal family. This is like royal family breaking stuff. This is huge. This has world impact here. Think about Princess Diana. Think about how much the royal family has impacted the planet. They were one of the oldest established royal families in the world. It says, I was ashamed to have to admit it to Harry, she said of her thoughts. And again, this word, it says, I knew that if I didn't say it, I would do it. I just didn't want to be alive anymore. What is this? I know a lot of you are not seeing it, and I do understand how people could be in that position and still think that. Mental health is a huge and horrible thing. To have, to not be healthy. But some people look at this and they go, you're part of the royal family. You're weighted on hand and foot, literally. I know that there's a drinking game every time I say literally, but this is a literal thing. If she wants a foot massage, there is a person there for her foot massage. She's a princess now or whatever. She's... That's insane. Or duchess. Sorry, she's a duchess. Isn't that right, Dux? She's a duchess. Or that is right. Is she both? I guess. It says the interview provided a reminder that Harry and Meghan weren't afraid to talk about the mental health challenges that they have dealt with. It says, ultimately hearing Meghan talk about navigating life in the palace with Harry as the sole source of support confirms something has seeped its way into news coverage of the couple over the last year. They said that they did not receive adequate support from Harry's family when they were struggling and seeking assistance. Now, this is the part that you're going to want to go to the website to check out because this is a fiery subject. It says she was subjected to relentless attacks. What? This is giant. And then, of course, it says, don't lecture the Queen. There's backlash on multiple fronts. This is like back when Twilight was out, like Team Jacob and Team this, right? This is now Team Harry and Meghan and Team Queen, right? Because it says that there's backlash against them. It says, don't lecture the Queen. Meghan and Harry torn apart for disrespecting Her Majesty. It says, as Harry and Meghan were stripped of their royal patronages and Harry lost his honorary military roles, a spokesman for the couple said, we can all live a life of service. Service is universal. But royal expert Camilla Tominey has argued that Harry and Meghan do not seem to understand what the public service actually is. Mrs. Tominey said of the response from the Sussexes, not only is it deeply disrespectful to engage of this sort of last word freakery with the Queen, it says, I also do not think that the 94-year-old monarch who has devoted her whole life to duty needs to be lectured on service by anyone. Of course, all royal engagements are self-promotional to a certain extent, but there is a big difference between acts that serve others and self-serving acts. So this is, look at this. Buckingham Palace announced yesterday that the couple would not return as working royals. And it was not possible for them to continue with the responsibilities and duties that come with the life of public service. Whoa. They're basically being ousted. I'm thinking about the marriage they had publicly a couple years ago. Dex, I don't know if I lost you there. I just want to make sure you're there. And you're probably...
Hey, Adam, I'm here. Sorry.
So, do you remember the marriage a couple years ago? It was such a... I mean, it was more than a couple years ago. I don't even know how many years ago that was. Time flies. But do you remember how magical Harry and Meghan's, wedding was?
Oh, yeah, it was a big deal.
It was a fairy tale.
Royal. Yeah, exactly.
The woman from, non-background ends up literally marrying a prince. That's insane. And now it is a story of basically they're getting kicked out. Or is that what that means? Or am I missing something? We'll just have silence. And Dex isn't coming back.
Hey, Adam, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, you're not in trouble.
No, the lines are in trouble.
I see you've got your hands full. People can wait a second. That's fine. I meant not those people. I mean, we can wait for you. Dex.
Nothing like dead air, right? Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I think it was a good spot. We need a sound effect for that, for a dead air sound effect. We were just playing Connect 4 behind the scenes. But now I had a question and I don't remember what the heck it was. That's okay. Dex, do you
I
have...
hope it wasn't about royalty, because I don't follow them that much, because I don't really... Like, some people just really love the royal family, or at least they used to probably be a lot more popular than they are today. They're not as popular as they used to be.
Well, that's kind of the point.
A lot of people have just really... Like the whole Diana thing was a huge deal. That last wedding, the Markle wedding and all that was a big deal. All of it is just... It's always tabloid, but it's also very mainstream popish type info, and a lot of people really follow it. A lot of people don't.
Okay. Now,
but like a lot of people should really get into it.
I just remembered. Are they getting kicked out from what you see? Does that mean if they're getting removed from duty, are they technically getting kicked out, but they're still family members? Like, are they still their positions? Obviously,
I think they got rid of all that. I think they sort of rescinded it all, or walked away from it all, knowing that they were going to be booted. So
because I saw tabloids in the grocery store, like basically saying that they were leaving the royal family, but I always see those as tabloids, and I don't believe it.
No, but when they went to Canada first, and then they went to I think California, so they could get their Netflix deals and become Hollywood stars. But yeah, they basically, left. But then there was a whole bunch of hubbub about whether or not anybody's going to offer them protection. And Canada was like, we're not paying for it. And the US is like, we're not paying for it. But yeah, because I think they had to give up their royal status. So they don't have that anymore.
So they don't have security. They don't have their hand and foot massage. That is kind of crazy to find out. I thought those tabloids, when I saw those things on the when you're in line at the grocery store, that's the only time I heard about the royal family, is like looking at those covers. It was always obsessed with those two, but it's like this is just another example of how times have changed, and everything, and I mean everything, all sorts of old school values that any country and any culture had are now being changed to this new thing of, I don't have to say it. You guys understand exactly what I'm saying. Piers Morgan then, of course, torn apart for hateful takedown of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. So then Piers Morgan gets taken down for saying that Meghan and Harry are disrespectful and that they shouldn't have done this. So now he's getting backlash. This is why I said it's like a Team Queen versus Team Meghan now, and everybody is fighting over this. It says the broadcaster was so forceful in his words against the pair that the viewers are now calling upon ITV to sack him or fire him for using his platform to spread hatred. In my opinion, that was his opinion. And why are we even talking about firing people for their opinion? It's already happened. I just showed you the other day, Carano from Star Wars, Mandalorian. Now, just forget she has a side on any aisle. Just remember that because of a single tweet, the contents of that tweet, even if you don't understand it, it's like there's no discussion about it, no nothing. Which, by the way, the staff of Star Wars is actually on live streams, including Bill Burr and others. One of the executive producers just talked about it, basically said that there should have been talk about it or a discussion about it or nothing. But since she did that tweet, gone. And Star Wars fans are so pissed off, and I'm telling you, on both sides of the aisle, it's crazy. People don't even care about what her views were. They were like, do not change Star Wars in any way. Don't take out a character. Who cares if she does this or that when she's not on set? The character of, Cara Dune is Cara Dune. You don't take that away. It's just like you don't change or replace her with somebody else. It was her. They were actually talking about changing the entire first 2 seasons of Mandalorian and taking her out of it. I have the Cara Dune toy figure. I can't believe it because it was the only one that nobody was buying at Target, and it was always there. All the other figures during, CV, all were out. That was the one there. And it was one of those Kenner, like old school Star Wars figures. Now, people are trying to get it anywhere they can. I saw people were paying like $100 or something for it because they even canceled her figure. They canceled her Star Wars figure. And Jon Favreau, the producer of it, and everybody else, all these people are going. I couldn't believe it. The official Star Wars YouTube has now. Oh my gosh, I could not believe this. I don't know if Dex. I know you don't really follow this too closely. I know you've probably seen The Mandalorian, but you go to the official Star Wars channel, and it's insane. I've never seen they're actually deleting and re-uploading their videos because of the like to dislike ratio. So I've seen them do it five or six times in the last couple weeks. So these High Republic, which by the way, there's two sides now. It's almost like the Team Queen and Team Meghan. There's Team Kennedy and there's Team Favreau, right? Because Favreau basically, I think, secretly did not want to get rid of Carano. Whoa, don't want to do that. So check this out. 30,000 dislikes. No news about this either. What's crazy to me is that there's no news about that, even though the official YouTube Rewind had the same kind of ratio, and I think it was less, and it made news, right? This doesn't. So that's how many people. Some of you may be like, I don't care about Star Wars. It's the fact that it doesn't matter that people didn't care about what her views were. They cared about it as fans of Star Wars, and they didn't think it was right. And now they're realizing it, that this cancel culture has gone too far. And it really takes a lot of people standing up and saying, this is not okay. This is not right. I mean, think about it. If an actor said something on the side, yeah, I can understand if they said something truly horrific. But if they have a view of something and then you basically confirm that view with what you do because of that view, that's pretty freaking messed up. I mean, people are getting fed up with this cancel culture because it's taking out all of their favorite people. I mean, there was movements over the last 3 or 4 years that, they've ruined everything. Everything I've ever liked is now ruined. What do you think, though? Do you agree with cancel culture? Do you think cancel culture is justified in some cases? Press 1. If you think cancel culture should never happen, press 2. Or I should say, do you think cancel culture is good? Press 1. If you think it's bad, press 2. And if you think sometimes it's justifiable, press 3. I have a feeling that I'll see some of that. Stonemaster Kevin, thank you on YouTube. Say, wait a second. Everything you say. The screen name is Who Cares? Well, you should. Thank you for your support. I'm like, who cares what you said? Sandy Bollinger, thank you so much for your support and super sticker. Then Louisiana Skywatch says, much love to the entire Foogle, and they said football fan. Foogle fam, including Dex, Marvin, Mods. Keep your eyes to the sky. The lies are very obvious. Much love, y'all. I think that why Tom McDonald and all these other people are successful is they're saying the stuff that everybody's thinking, but they're afraid to say. There's 10 people around the water cooler at work, and all 10 of them are thinking the same thing, but they're worried about that one person that's either going to be like, you can't say that here. You know, it's like you're worried about the minority of one person that's going to say, oh, or tell your boss or say something about it. People are going through their old tweets from 10 years ago trying to clean up anything. And we're talking about regular people because they're afraid their next job might go through and go 9 years back to a tweet that might be a joke or something, and that tweet will haunt you for the rest of your life. Now all of the social media is now biting people in their butts, and it's not good. I mean, like, this is pretty horrible. Zippy Moons, thank you for going to PayPal after the show last night. Says, don't tell me what to do. Zippy Moons, LOL tonight was very cool. I laughed a lot, loud, way too much. Needed this. Hey, Zippy Moons, I'm glad that you loved it. And Kevin, thank you for going over there. Says, hey, love you guys. Hope each of your families are blessed and happy. I'd love some criticism on my music and surf vids. I will check it out, Kevin. Thank you. And seriously, I love that you did that. And Jacqueline L., thank you. Massive support over on PayPal. And Gone Girl. Hey, Adam and Dex, I'm in the woods. Love you, Foogle fam, love. Thank you, guys. Gone Girl, that's okay. No worries. whether you're in the woods or somewhere else, and she's like, for real, she'll be out in the woods. That's Foogle Fam for you. All right, let's get it. Murphy's Law on the phone. I don't believe she has called in for a long time, but you guys might recognize her. She's been in chat for a very long time. I want to say something like 3 years or something. It's talking about the next stimulus. Calling from North Carolina. Let's get Murphy's Law. Murphy, you are now live on Marfoogle News.
Hi, Adam. Hi, Dex. Hi, Foo Fam.
Foo Fam.
Long time since I called in.
We're the Foog Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
Yes.
Foo Fam.
Yes, that's awesome. So what about the stimulus? You have something to say about it?
Yeah, well, see, I was going to do a show on Sunday, right? But I'm in the bad girls' corner. I mean, at least when I did construction, when they changed the building codes, everything got grandfathered in. YouTube didn't work like that.
No, it does not. So
besides this stimulus coming up, okay, the one that they're working on after this, well, they're calling it a name that Dex said I really shouldn't say online because it might be construed as, one of the things that we're not supposed to say. But the next one is supposed to be between $2 and $3 trillion, right? So what's their highlight in there? What have they been talking about? Oh, yeah, we're going to help the student loan, right? At least $10,000, maybe $50,000. Well, I don't think anybody's actually looked at it the way I have, but essentially it's a bank bailout, right? Because it's costing us, the taxpayers, $2 to $3 trillion. Now, those nice banks, they're not going to say, you worked so hard for your college degree, we're just going to forgive, $50,000 of that loan. So essentially, I think it's going to be a bank bailout. Now, I had done a show and I had found some paperwork back from 2019, in September of 2019. See, usually the banks have to balance out every night. That's just the law. And they would, like Bank of America might go to JP Morgan and say, hey, I need $1 billion in assets to balance out. And JP Morgan would be like, okay, here you go. We'll float you some assets. And then they just return it the next day. Well, the banks were no longer able to do that. So what they did is they had to go through the Federal Reserve. So in 1 week's time, all the banks combined were borrowing up to $600 billion. Now, these were short-term loans that had to be paid back in two weeks. Now, we know, when we go to advanced payday places, well, if you couldn't make it this week, you're not going to be able to make it next week, right? So I kind of thought about it, and I was like, well, gee, wasn't this kind of weird? Because then this thing happened, starting around 2020. And so I kind of thought that maybe the banks failed back in September. And they're like floating, doing the back float and just, kicking along. And I thought that maybe what happened kind of was a cover. Now, if we all think that, oh, well, this was a worldwide thing and we're all going to just, the economies are going to crash because of this thing that happened, right? Well, what if there was more to it? What if they actually failed? And what if we're actually we're going to bail them out with these student loan things? And of course, they're dressing it up and they're just saying, oh, yeah, it's student debt forgiveness. There's no forgiveness in that. Someone's paying for it.
Well, Murphy,
be us.
Also, is there oversight committee of where this money is going? That's what I wonder. And I know there'll probably be an official one, but I'm just saying, we've lost a lot of money. In fact, publicly, there are trillions of dollars that just got lost somehow. They admit that there was lost money, and some of us think it's black projects or kind of top secret projects, but couldn't this just, and I know a lot of people are saying, yes, Couldn't this go into pockets somewhere and we get a tiny little $600 check and we just turn the other way and go, well, I got mine, I don't care?
Well, but if you think about it, okay, so they're going to give like some museum $2 billion, right? Well, I bet that museum is probably
Kicking
donating to, I don't know, the Clinton Foundation. See, now all these big people, they have foundations, all the big names. I did a show on that too, right, Adam? So I know who owns what. And maybe they're making donations through foundations or kickbacks to, say, a party line.
Yep, exactly. So basically that money gets cycled through and goes right back into where they need it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
No.
But this is, I haven't heard anybody on YouTube actually magnify this and put it out the way I did. It's plain and simple. It's a bank bailout. And if people knew about it, I mean, look what happened in 2008, right? We were mad. We were like, no, we shouldn't be bailing anybody. Well, for every $1 that you put in the bank, it used to be the bank could loan out 10, which essentially means that money was made up out of thin air. So then after, the president that was the president before the last president, but not this president, I'm starting to sound like you, Adam. But I'm trying real hard. I got that list, right? But in any event, he allowed the banks to loan out $100 on that $1 that you put in. So this is where your bubbles, they said, it was a housing market bubble. Well, this is essentially, they are creating money out of thin air, and that can't last forever. So, you think, I don't know how many people went through college, but even at $50,000 a pop, that's going to be at least $1 trillion or $2 trillion, and who knows what else they're going to put in that thing. They're going to give everyone on Social Security an extra $200, and I don't know what it's going to cost them, maybe $600 billion to plus all Americans, like
food,
maybe $2,000.
I'm sure food stamps is going to. There's going to be different things that affect all sorts of things, housing, all sorts of public programs that, of course, can be altered, or they say it's doing this and it's doing that. Well, Murphy's Law, thank you for calling in, and I'm going to direct everybody to your channel. And again, it sounds like you're in trouble for this week or something, but Murphy's Law is...
I'm in the bad girl corner.
You're almost at 2,000 subscribers. So let's get you there.
I've been growing.
Well, that's because you're doing what you should be. You're telling your truth, and that's really amazing, Murphy. I'm really proud of you. I watched you start this channel, and now you're almost 2,000. That's amazing.
I've been doing YouTube almost as long as you. I think 4 or 5 years, something like that. But I just do like a Sunday night show when I'm not in the bad girls corner.
I've been there. Well, that's why we do that list. You can use that list. If you don't know what we're talking about, we when somebody calls in, we have a certain website they go to. Dex sends them the list, and then we have replacement words for everything. So if it's
I saw the list.
F Fantastic Freddy or there's tons of examples on there. But anyone that we know for a fact has been a hit. I think I nailed it this time, Adam. No,
I don't
you
think
missed
I
one.
said any of the naughty words.
Nope, you said one, and it's a name, the Blank Foundation. And trust me, I've been doing this so long. I know it's crazy. I've got them all memorized, and there's like 3,000 words, and they're all in my head. Isn't that nuts? And sometimes I messed up. I almost said CV earlier. I don't know if anybody caught that. I catch it. I do multiple things at the same time, and it's not easy. Dex, the couple times he did a show, he finally understood. He's like, man, I can't believe you do all that at the same time, and it's not easy. It's a pain in the butt.
Dex is going to add my little business name. I have an Etsy account, and I'll have some minerals that I'll be able to list probably the start of next month. But I can't tell you what that is either, but it's really great stuff.
All right, well, Foogle Fam, make sure to support Foogle Fam. Go over and check it out. You can go to marfooglenews.com to find Murphy's Law. Murphy, thank you for coming on the show, and we appreciate you, and keep doing your thing. All right, bye-bye. God bless. That was Murphy's Law. Remember, she does her own truth, and she has a channel of her own. She is amazing gal. Make sure to go check her out. Support, and support Marfoogle Fam. So if she has a small business or something like that, go and check it out. If you're into that kind of thing, then do it from somebody else. We used to have a group in our Discord, kind of an area where my idea, and I don't think it reached full potential, was that we support Foogle Fam members before anybody else. Or Marfia members before anybody else, right? So if there's, John owns a tire shop in Michigan, and you're in Michigan, you support John's tire shop, who's a Foogle Fam member, rather than support, Discount Tire. It might be a few dollars more, but you're supporting a small business, and you're supporting somebody, That's what I really want to do, and that's what we're trying to build here. I want to make sure that you guys are all supporting each other and pushing each other up. That's a really big point. And make sure to leave my channel and go help others and do everything you can. If you can, also leave a like on our channel if you can. Share us out. That is the only way we're getting out. So thank you so much for everybody that does that. And in advance, I thank you. I would not have anything if it wasn't for the wonderful people around me, my mods, Jay Stone, CJ Blaze, WV, there's a whole list, Bones, Rip Curl, all of those great people down there. So make sure to say thank you to them as well. They're working hard to keep this a positive area, and thank you, to everybody, including Dex. All right. Now this is pretty trippy. First of all, make sure to protect yourself against cyber threats. If you have not already, make sure to go check out Nord. Again, Nord, today's show is brought to you by, is again one of the best rated protections. It's a virtual private network. It basically hides your IP address, which can connect to your real address. It can help protect you from, identity theft, all sorts of bad things. Nord, we picked specifically because it has an easy mode. Just turn it on and off. You just flip a switch and it's on, and it does it all for you. And this is a big deal, is you can use it on 6 different devices, all with one account, and you get upwards of 70% off. So make sure to use our special code. It will help us with a small commission to help our channel grow, and you get a discount. So it doesn't cost you anything extra. It costs you less, and you're helping our network grow. So thank you so much. And again, that is very, very, very appreciated. Dex, we're going to talk about the Dubai airport. Remember to call in at 224400-MARF. Again, that is 224400-MARF. If you want to call in about any of these stories, try to get in now. At Dubai airport, travelers' eyes become their passports. Pretty creepy if you ask me. This is where biometrics is now becoming commonplace to actually use these things to travel. This is not okay in my book. What do you think about it? Lisa K, what's going on? 100-1, great odds for the banks. Yeah, exactly. Kelly2334, thank you. Paranomad. Nomad, thank you. Personal responsibility is what makes us an adult. Be a victor, not a victim. I think that's the coolest statement today, Nomad. I really appreciate that. I have a couple people that I just want to soak that in my personal life. So know exactly what that means. Marfoogle News is the only news I use. Mr. Cornholio, thank you. And thank you for making me say your name every time you do that. Dubai's airport, the world's busiest for international travel, can already feel surreal. With its cavernous duty-free stores, artificial palm trees, gleaming terminals, water cascades, and near-Arctic levels of air conditioning. Now the key east-west transit hub is rolling out another addition from the realm of science fiction, an iris scanner. that verifies one's identity and eliminates the need for any human interaction when entering or leaving the country. So I don't know if you caught that, but there's a convenience there. There is a convenience that they offer you. They say, this is why you want to do this, because it's going to be more convenient for you. The downside is that this is I am sure, this is a test. They are now going to be doing studies all over the world. I'm sure there are state governments and city governments and countries that are looking at how Dubai is doing it, because Dubai has actually set the precedent for a lot of different places with some of the technology that they use. And it's because Dubai has the money and the time and the lack of kind of, there's not a bureaucratic process that they have to do to make something happen there. So very well, there could have been a government that said, hey, can you test this out? We've got to pass it. We've got to have data for it. Before we do it, we got to show that it's going to be a good thing and convenient. So they're going to pass that there. This is going to be a model for other places. You're going to soon be scanning your eyes places. Is that not scary to anybody? Iris scans. Some of you say, well, okay, I already do that with my iPhone, or I do that with my Android. You shouldn't be. I don't think any of us should be putting our irises on things. We already have our fingerprints. Most all of us have once or twice had a cell phone in the past, especially when the technology first came out, and some of us were probably kind of dumb, including myself. Say, oh, fingerprint scanner, that's great. Well, it's my phone. Nobody's going to have access to it. Of course they are. If you have a fingerprint scanner, or if you have a fingerprint scanner in your phone, now the new ones are inside the screen. One thing I think about is like, what if it's in the screen? Think about that. So you don't. I want people to think about how they added it. Before, it used to be on the back, so you would press your finger on and you would have to, program your finger, right? If you think about it, when it's in the phone now, say you don't even program it and some three-letter agency accesses your phone, they could grab, without you even knowing, and use that software to get your fingerprint while you're just scrolling something. In fact, if you think about how this in-screen fingerprint scanner works on like the Note 20s and things, they could grab your fingerprint even if you choose not to do it. Either way, almost all of our biometrics are now being used everywhere. We are going to have an Aadhaar system, just like India, where they have their fingerprints, their irises, their palm prints. You're talking about even DNA is now being added to some of these groups just to get, say, their free food or their food stamps or their benefits. There were people that starved in India because they did not want to do the Aadhaar card, RDHARR, I believe. Could be wrong. I did a whole show on this back when I did shows like Best Damn Podcast, where we looked at all the instances where they were using this and people starved because they were not going to give up their irises, their fingerprints, their voice recognition, all of that just to go get food, right? But get this. Some people just didn't even have it, and they starved because the places were not giving them food. Later, after the whole world said, what are you doing? People are starving. They said, oh, no, it was an accident, and they could have got food. It was that single place that messed up and didn't give them food. They basically just have to have them fill out a form. None of those places were told that, and they ended up starving people because they would not give out the food rations. And we're talking about places with rations of water and food, would not give it without that. Think about the future where that is a reality. Kimberly Clemens says in Dr. Evil's voice, how about no? How about no? Kelly2334, thank you so much. And you, Dex, and mods are very appreciated. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you, Mr. Cornholio. More TP for my bungholio. Don't know why I had to add that second part, but we already went there. Now, this is a video. Check this out. Okay, well, I'm not... So there's two different things here. Dex, do you want to set this up? You added this in here. This is two different angles, right?
Hey, Adam. Yeah, you're talking about the Bath and Body Works debacle.
Yes.
So yeah, the main video, the longer one, it's just you can't imagine you're in a store and this actually happens, and we're not talking like, the day after Thanksgiving sales. We're talking about just a random event, and I think what set this off was the person may have like been in the wrong position in line or moved in the wrong position in line, but to see this unfold the way it did was kind of crazy. The second video is really shorter, but it sort of shows the beginning. So you get a different angle of what happened right before, because you wish that first video had about 10 seconds before.
Okay, this is Javi. Have a nice day. Javi on Twitter.
Trailer park trash. She's
Whoa!
Shit!
Wait, I am sorry. This is bed and wait. This is body and this is a freaking soap store. Scented candles. What scented candles is worth throwing bows?
So I don't know if you're playing the first video or the second video, but the one at the top, there's one that's longer, and you can see the manager has to break up the thing. It's crazy.
This is Genevieve on Twitter. Oh my goodness! I bet. One thing I will say is I bet this is the best smelling fight you have ever smelled. Oh, you take that, Summer Breeze. Oh, did you see that punch? That was Midnight Fresh. Wow, she is a cucumber kumquat. Oh, she's gonna need some fresh laundry. Wow, what a citrus breeze.
She attacked her. No, I did not. She touched me first. I need my purse. I need my purse. I need my purse. Do not. I need my fucking purse.
And wow. At a scented soap candle store. Bath and Body Works. I bet they
Isn't that nuts?
I bet they are just super proud of their employees. They were getting fresh with their employees. That customer service really smelled like crap. All right, I'm done with the candle puns. Although, if you have more, put them in the chat. Okay. Yeah. Lou Rock. Marf, you're evil like myself. I love it. All right. Let's continue here. Wow.
And Adam, let me just tell everybody there's some bonus stuff on that one. So if you go to our website, don't play it, but if you go to our website and you actually go to the same tweet, and you look around for that original tweet, and you'll see what everyone else tweets after. There's a McDonald's incident, a Waffle House incident. And those are you couldn't put those on. There's body parts flying around that you can't see. But it's some of the craziest things that happen in these stores in these times. And I guess maybe people just take a deep breath. Like, we don't have to get this crazy when it comes to,
People are pissed off.
Yeah,
This is okay.
everybody's
So,
mad.
That is a perfect example of why. I mean, that shows you what the world is like right now, because right now everyone is so pissed off and just waiting to unleash anger and kick the cat and just take it out on somebody random. Right now there are so many random crimes going on. If that some people said that whole shoveling snow thing was off. I don't know about that. After what people have gone through in the last year and a half, I don't know about that, because people are so ready to snap that things like that are happening. Road rage incidents have gone up. All these other things have gone up. Specifically in stores where people are asked to separate and do all this stuff and being ordered around, told to do this, told to do that. People are just ready to snap. So I do see that. Just a reminder, while we're on this subject, on our website, Dex and I take the time before the shows to add everything to the web-only content. So Dex puts this all on the website for you to access. So remember, there's this whole amount of basically too hot for TV stuff that is on our website, and you basically can go to our website, one-stop shop for all of today's news. There's a ton of stuff. There's a whole nother show on there right there. So if you do find this valuable, please give us a like, give us a thumbs up, comment on our video and say hi. That would help. We really do appreciate it. And again, that's another way you can show your appreciation, is just sharing this out. Share the page with somebody so they can go read the news. We are now have thousands and thousands of people visiting the website every day just for the news. They don't even watch the show, half of them. So thank you for those of you that do that as well. We do appreciate it. Okay. Dex, apparently the U.S. CV cases post slowest spread since it began. Not only that, if you get the ding-a-ding-a, you can actually hang out with friends and family. Oh, really? So are they going to go door-to-door knocking? No. So basically, what if, but you're still going to have to wear them. You just can do it inside your home with other people, which I think people are already doing. But I don't know. So if you get the drinka, then you can go over and drinka with your friends. What do you think about that? Apparently, it says the U.S. reported 420,285 infections for the week. For the week. That's 420,000 people are getting this thing. But that's not those are the people that, got it. That's not the, that's, I think 0.1% of that. 0.001% of that you can use a calculator and find it. So it looks like, everything is better now. Or at least they say it's getting better because, such a tiny percent has all gotten these things. Dinkas. All right. Now, remember, you can go to our website and find all of this. Let's get our next phone caller on. Mike, first-time caller. And we're going to be looking at a collection of patents. All right, we've got a Dropbox link here. Let's get Mike on. Mike is a first-time caller. Let's go through it. Oh, and Tweet Jade Main, thank you for your support on the show. And then Nikki Knows says the first went DOR and banks via collections. Nikki Knows, thank you for the comment there. And then Nose Pickin', I love that name. Would you please give a shout out for Faithful Prepper? She is a young new prepper that needs more watch hours. Much appreciated. You knows it. I will check them out. I'll even try to pull them up on the Shoutro. because there's not very many female preppers. There's a lot of homesteaders, but there's not that many prepper channels. Lola Cafe, thank you so much for your support. Lee Tabensky, remember the old days when you and I laughed about the high hive hairdo on the phone. It was bad then. It's a whole different world now. Very sad. The horror is acceleratingly scary. The world we now live in. And then Doc Bill, 100 years ago, King George V changed the name of the British royal family from the German Saxe-Coburg and the Gotha to the English Windsor. Interesting, Doc. Again, thank you for your multiple supports tonight. And Mr. Humility, God bless you and Dex and your family. The day of Yahweh is near. Preparation Station, I'll get to you in here in a second. And then let's get... it looks like Mike, he was trying to get Mike on, so... And then I've got the link that Mike had of the Dropbox. So I will pull that up. Well,
I'm trying to get him online.
No, I know you are. Okay. So we're going to be talking about this. In the meantime, who was that? Preparation Station. By the way, there's lots of really awesome new people here. Make sure to welcome them. Make sure to let them know that they're needed here and that they're appreciated, and their view, even if it's different, is welcome. Preparation Station says, I have a video up and one coming tomorrow. Thank you for all of your support. Okay, so I think that's somebody we love mobbed, and they are starting a prep channel. Martin Benjamin, glad to have caught the live show. Hope is all well with the Foogle fam. Keep up the hard work. Ho Operator, I had a VA district judge tell me he would put me in jail if I mention the Constitution last week. I don't know if you heard that. Are you bringing me that? Oh, thank you, honey. My daughter brought me the Hot Pocket I forgot in the microwave last night. What's going on?
Hey, Marv, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? So what are we talking about? What are these patents?
I'm doing well. Can't complain.
So I've got the patents pulled up here. What should we be looking at here?
So overall, with a lot of the chaos, I guess you could say, that's going around, kind of like the video you posted with those, at the Bath and Body. A lot of this stuff has to deal with, things that people usually aren't aware of, and that's all frequency-based stuff. In regards to the people that run the state or the country, we have a lot of technology, right, that they say we're using to protect, but also they're actually using some of that equipment on us. And so those patents are basically for, and where I live in Santa Barbara, there's a huge, we have a lot of those companies that are listed here. And, that stuff's, it's mind altering. And I don't know if people out there really understand, frequencies. Everything is energy based, frequency based, and certain frequencies will actually change your mood. It's almost like when you watch a movie. You watch Rocky and you get all excited, and then you watch a chick flick, and the sad scene comes on, and the music, and it's just those frequencies that are actually orchestrated alter your moods. Now, the stuff that's listed are more of the extreme low frequencies, ELFs, do direct energy, bang bangs, stuff like that. And I don't think it's discussed enough. You try to do some research online, you'll see some stuff about it, but try to the algorithms will try to shy you away from digging into it even deeper, which is a huge concern for everybody. Not just here in the U.S. but worldwide.
So as far as this patent list goes, we've talked about some of the stuff that is kind of coming out, and a lot of people have done a lot of research and found there's some pretty creepy stuff out there that why is it not talked about publicly? I don't really understand it.
I agree. I definitely agree. There's certain things, especially that's not listed on there, but and I'm not sure if I can say these companies or not, but one of them owns a smaller company that's making commercial XATs, which these things that are these people, they're like drones, right? But these things are only 330 pounds. Usually when we think of things hovering over the sky, these are tons, but I mean, literally 150 kilograms. And all this is advanced electrical, power systems, propulsions, data handling, radio frequencies, that basically intersect certain things and payload interfaces, and people don't. I don't think people are maybe needing to or wanting to rather talk about it, because it might be a little bit taboo for people. But we're getting to the point where we need to talk about it, and that's what I love about your guys' show. I mean, it's I understand the restrictions and stuff like that, but man, you guys are taking a lot of this stuff, head on, which I think is amazing.
Well, also, I don't know if you heard what I said the other day. I believe it might have been a YouTube story, but it's kind of funny. I'm having kind of a diverticulitis attack right now. But when I went to the hospital last year for diverticulitis, there was a tower. It's the newest generation tower, but it wasn't a tower. Mm-hmm. It was just the part that goes on top, and it was on top of this long walkway, the kind of walkway you would see in a middle school where it's outside, but it's a metal kind of just one of those metal roof things that just covers the walkway. Well, there's a walkway all the way along from one part of the hospital to the other building of the hospital. I want to say it's Providence Hospital. And in the middle, there's a gap in a driveway. And then right there at the end of the thing, there was one of the newest generation things. And it didn't have a pole. It was about 10 feet off the ground. In fact, back in my basketball days, I probably could have ran and tapped it, right? Like, tapping the doorway. It was that close. Well, we noticed that the half on both sides, there was a tree on the left side and a tree on the right side. The inside of the trees were dead. The outside of the trees, right outside the reach of this thing, were green. The branches that were towards this thing were brown. All the leaves were gone when the entire tree was looking normal and perfect. Those trees are now complete.
Rotting.
Yep, and they were complete. Now those trees are completely dead, but guess what? They removed that from right above, and I guarantee you there's a million doctors that walking back and forth there. Somebody probably said, hey, look at what this is doing. We need to take this away from here. Those doctors know what the hell is going on. Those doctors working there knew what was going on.
They do.
And that whole row up in front is all doctors parking. So I bet you they saw that and they go, I'm not parking my Tesla here. I mean, you can go there yourself. And I took video of it before they took it out. And I said, how is this so close? It was not 50 feet up. It was not 100 feet up. It was 10 feet. It was on top of the little roof that goes over this walkway. And if that is doing that to the trees, what is it doing to us?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even when we have our handy dandy smartphones, it's there's those regulations, and I know at least for California, in Berkeley, they were the first ones to make cell phone companies say, hey, these things give out it's this radiation that's bad for you, but they're minimal. It's all minimal requirements. Just don't keep it next to your head, and unfortunately, that's just when it's in kind of like a sleep mode. Now, when you have, like, I have a Note 20, and this thing is beefed up, right? And so it's like I have all these different apps running, and so the frequency output is so much higher than what would you consider, the minimal. It's almost like for California, we have Prop 65, right? Stuff that causes cancer. Just to kind of let people know, if you're going into, like, let's say an old shopping center or something like that, it's like, hey, there might be asbestos. Or I think we really need to push to have that kind of everywhere in regards to our daily devices, because realistically it's damaging us, inside out. And, the doctors that actually do talk against it, just kind of like along the other stuff that's going on in the world.
So
they're getting punished for it.
By the way, somebody just said an amazing point. Says they already are showing that births are down. So they thought that it was going to be a baby boom because of the whole CV and locked in, which it should have been. It is a baby bust. They are calling it a baby bust, which means we are actually losing population. And I don't think that's a coincidence. But again, we can't get too much deeper into that. I'll end up sharing in the coming weeks a couple of articles that I found that were really interesting on this. The baby bust, something's changing, and I think kind of you're on to something. Of course, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, hey, I got 2 kids, and I'll do anything for my boys, and speaking up is the least I can do. It's just trying to convince other people who might not be as aware or not understand fully, because it's almost, talking a foreign language if you don't understand certain things or the concepts of it. So it's kind of hard to gather the audience's full attention if they do not understand. And unfortunately, with how certain things are when we learn growing up, they kind of sway away from telling us certain things, and I think that are extremely vital. It's history, his story, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, we watch a bunch of stuff on the television, the lie vision, because that's kind of all it's doing. And it's like you speak the truth, and it disperses, and you don't hear it. But man, they'll, the whole the royal stuff, it is a distraction. It's but who's playing Oz, or who's playing the magician? Because right now everyone's focused on one thing while something else is going on behind the scenes, which you guys covered 99.9% of it, which is amazing. I think people really got to understand that and kind of take a step back and look at the bigger picture here, because just even this the U.S. patents right here that talk about Mortal Kombat Ultra, if you catch my drift, and it's
so just to
B2K.
We're out of time, but I wanted to just show you a couple of these. Wow. This is a James R. Craw patent. It says superimposes subliminal imaging into a subject's existing television signal. One is controls mental state of subjects by adding imperceptible subliminal messaging. Apparatus to remote neural control of subjects via an implanted RF circuit. There was one about direct energy, which, by the way, used to be a fringe thing, right? Now the DOD has confirmed it last year. DOD came out during a press release and said, not only is it real, but China and Russia have put it in space. So that right there proves and totally connects all of these top secret things that have come out. We now know what the hell they were. Those 2 ships that burn on fire, the amphibious ships, my opinion is those were heat related from space. But again, that's my opinion. That's not back-upable. So, again, thank you for calling in, Mike. Appreciate it. It's your first time call. I hope it's not your last.
Oh, it definitely won't. I got a list of stuff in pertaining to this and many others. When you're kind of left with nothing but to do some research, it's either fight or flight. And my fighting is getting educated and gaining the knowledge of knowing what everything that's going on, because we all know they want that kind of a negative reaction from people, and we need to learn how to respond instead of react. Because words are powerful, and they can create war, but words can also create peace. Fortunately, we just got to continue that push, and it's not just for us; it's for our kids, the younger generations. They're really relying on us right now, and we have a freedom of speech, and we shouldn't be oppressed by anything. And again, I appreciate you and Dex and the Marfoogle fam, and I'm definitely a huge fan, and looking forward to having you guys continue educating us and gaining the knowledge so we can become united the way we're supposed to be.
Well, Mike, perfect way to end it. Again, thank you so much for your call tonight, and you have a blessed night. And we will be sharing all of this information on our website, marfooglenews.com. You'll be able to look at the actual U.S. patent number. You can basically copy and paste, and those are all actual patents. It's like, what? Some of this stuff is really, and this is a good combination of all of the crazy one. There's X-ray stuff, there's microwave stuff, there's all sorts of stuff in here. And everyone should at least know that these exist. These should be taught about in school. They have an apparatus for remote neural control of a subject via an implanted RF circuit. By the way, that was March of 14, I believe. What really surprising, that subliminal one, that was back in 86. That was implemented, patented. There's a lot of ones that are quite old, and you're like, wow, that's been around forever. Back in 1958, causes subject to hear audible sounds by transmitting electrical inaudible waves at face. Do you realize what that is? Skull, that's voice to skull technology. That's crazy. Back in 1958, people. Now they have technology where you'll stand there and you'll be the only one who hears it. They've got these weird things, and they're going to be selling this as a product that you can have in your home, where you can sit in front of your computer, have these special speakers set up where only you hear this like Bose quality sound, no earphones, no nothing, and you're hearing a symphony of sounds, and nobody else around you does. No apparatus, no nothing. This is getting crazy, people. Dex, wouldn't you agree that there's a lot of patents that we should know about and we don't?
Oh yeah, there's plenty. And there's the ones that we don't know about and you can't find anything about because they're hidden.
Yeah, there's confidential and top secret ones, which are pretty scary. I don't even know how they do that. How would you patent something without, I guess, through government clearance, right? Looks like I missed somebody. Louisiana Skywatch. Again, thank you for your support. And again, who cares? Well, you should. That was their screen name. Thank you and thank you. Proctor Kidwell. Holy moly. I did not see that. Proctor Kidwell, thank you so much. You will have a spot on the shoutro there for that. Thank you for your massive support of the show today. I cannot say thank you enough. Thank you for supporting Truly Independent. We, again, do not have any multi-channel networks, so that is amazing. Jessica Leanne, thank you. Says Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy and vibration. No, I know frequency and vibration, and there's everything has a frequency, which is absolutely insane. Peanuts have a frequency. Your cereal has a frequency. I think that's crazy. Exactly why I stay home. It's crazy out there, says Uper Viking. I don't believe you. I don't blame you there. Renee DeBlanc, thank you, Renee DeBlanc, if I'm saying that right. Says, I have been watching you for a few years now, but I am never in the chat. I love you and appreciate you guys so much. XO, XO, XO. And then Kara Fusilianer says, hey, it's Kara Fuse sending love. Got some cool info I'm going to send you about underground and airport and giant killer horse. Well, I don't know, but there's a giant killer horse and it's underground airport. I would think of Denver airport with the giant horse. But I'd love, I get maybe you're coding there. That's awesome. Kara Fuse, I'd love to have the information. I look up anything regarding the Denver airport. It fascinates me. If you don't know about the Denver airport theories, then you need to look at them today. The murals, especially, the creepiest thing in the world. Ed Brown, thank you. That is super appreciated. Ed Brown and everybody else tonight, thank you. Let's see here. Let's get Mary on. Mary believes Megan is doing this. We'll ask her in just a second. Megan, let's... I'm sorry, Mary, let's talk about Megan. Meanwhile, Quantum Cat, thank you so much. I love Dosh Hounds. Love my Foogle fam. Thank you, Marf, Dex, and Mods. Hello, Mary. You are live on Marfoogle News.
Hi, Adam. I'm a Foogle fan.
So,
can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So you believe Megan is being attacked by an alien race?
Yes. And so if you can, right now while I'm maybe saying something, if you can pull out the Navy map, and then I'll explain, and I'll try not to keep you long. I'm very long-winded, so I start on one subject and then go off to the next, so I'll be very careful. Okay, so I have done a study of the eclipse of 2017, and I'm still studying between Oregon and all the way down to South Carolina. And I've put some words together. I've put their definition, and I've come up with some things. But what brought this thing about Megan and Harry is that North Carolina and South Carolina, according to what I have studied, is going to be owned by Prince Charles. And then the Navy map shows where I believe, my personal opinion, that, like the Cascadia is going to start the volcanoes, and then it's going to go to what is it called right now? The volcano in Wyoming, Yellowstone, and then it's going to trickle down. But in Illinois, today I made a study, and I'm still working on it, because I found 16 so far streets named Locust, Locust, Locust. And I believe that we're going to have a fireball or some kind of something from the earth. I do not think it's a nuke. I think it's going to be just exactly like it happened in 763 BC, where Jonah, the prophet, was telling the people to repent of their evil ways. And they were doing some habits that they weren't supposed to be doing, and God didn't like that. But Jonah was prophesying over them, and at the same time, Sodom and Gomorrah happened. And of course, Lot's wife got killed in between, and those evil men that lived in Sodom and Gomorrah wanted to also hurt the angels that came to deliver Lot. And to make a long story short, the same eclipse that happened in 763 BC, it's also going to happen in the United States. I have not done the study from Mexico all the way to New York. But back to Harry and Megan, we are like being invaded by the bricklayers and the bricklayers, and there's another word that I need to come up with right now, and it has to do with the bricklayers, the achrome, and there's something else that I need to mention, the illuminantes, okay? All of those are mixed in, and so they had to leave there because they wanted to live free from all that terror that was happening over there, and they came over here to get some rest without having to be tormented by those things. And I myself have witnessed in real life, I have witnessed those things attack me. And so I have like a list of maybe 15 things that I have experienced in life. I don't want to get off the thing, but I've seen black-eyed children, I've seen the lizards, I've seen headless horsemen, but that's not the topic. Back to Harry and Meghan. I mean, yeah, they were tired of it all, and they wanted to pull away because it was just too much.
Now, was there something that made you think about this, or is that your theory because of what you think about the royal family and everything they're doing?
Well, there's a lot of things where we see and we study, but I've done an intensive study on them, and they supposedly, I studied that they weren't really the royal family, that there was another woman that that was of the lineage, and they got rid of her, and she was like Meghan. And so what I understood when I did the study is that they repay back. And so Harry's mother was very kind-hearted, and she knew they were going after her, but she liked other people other than her family. And Harry became like her. He took up her fight for freedom, and that's all she wanted was peace. But the lizards aren't going to allow it. The Bible says, and I think it's in Ephesians chapter 6, it says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So we need to be smart. If there's any hope for anybody, and they're fearful of dying, and everybody's jumped on the bandwagon with, the Lord's coming, and am I going to be ready? You know what? They're going to be ready, or they're not going to be ready. They're going to be taken, or they're not going to be taken. And I had the near-death experience, so I know. Look, I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be perfect, but I try to live as best as I can to follow the Lord and read the Bible. And so that's how I'm finding information. Just recently, I was reading 1 Samuel chapter 8, and it talks about how the Lord was talking to the prophet Samuel. And Samuel, the Lord spoke to Samuel and told him, don't be offended. It's okay. They do not want me. And they're not rejecting you, Samuel. They're rejecting me because Jesus wants to be our king. And the people said, give us a king, give us a king. We want a king. So guess what he's doing? He's giving us a king, a bad king. And then we jump to Samuel chapter 14, and there was a commandment not to eat blood. And guess what? The people ate blood. Well,
Mary,
something else.
By the way, we're about 5. I don't want to interrupt you, and I'm really not into interrupting, but we are way over time. Again,
okay.
We also have to be
Anyway,
careful about if we go too deep into certain subjects. That's where we get into the territory of getting into.
Yes, sir, and I understand, and that's why I was trying to use some special words for that. So if I
I get you, but we are being persecuted, and you know that. Again, that's
I understand
that you understand that. But we also have
I
to
understand that.
categorize ourselves as certain things. You also get that too. So that's why we make sure to let you know about that. But Mary,
I just
if
hope
you
I didn't,
can,
say
I'm going to let
anything
you
else.
finish
Okay,
your
bye.
point. No, go ahead. Finish the story.
Okay, so basically, we just have to be very careful with what's going on, and we just have to be prepared. And I'm just going to exhort or say, please don't be afraid, because I mean, life is too short to be afraid. What's going to happen is going to happen, and we just have to be brave and move forward, and just encourage each other. And live a good life as best as we can. Okay.
Amen.
And I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And I hope I didn't cross any lines that I wasn't supposed to.
No,
But
God bless you.
I think
No,
this is
it's
the
the
best show.
level. It's the amount. There's like this meter that basically we have to make sure to bring it back every time the meter goes up. It's hard to explain, but we'll actually put a little note. It will waste everybody's time for me to explain. I'll do it on another, because I've already gone off subject plenty of times tonight, but I will explain in a future episode, and it will help smaller creators too. It's a good thing to know, and it's a good thing to have in your arsenal. Mary, I love your call last time too, where you talked about your accident 43 years ago, I believe, where you got in a horrible car accident and actually lost one of your eyes. It was a riveting story, in fact. Right. So, no, I want to hear more from you. And, Mary, please remember, just because we have a limit doesn't mean, I would love for you to call back again. And I, like I said last time, and now today we did again. So, would love to hear from you again, Mary. And thank you so much for calling in, and God bless you.
Yeah, same to you.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
All right.
See
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
All right. Mary, again, was caller 4. You can always comment on the perceptive callers. You can say hi, or you can say hello, or you can say, loved your call. Make sure to say positive things. Make sure also to tell people they did a great job. It's always great for any caller. They usually go through the comments and they see if people say something about their comments. I always like leaving a positive call on other call-in shows. I believe, there's of course like Mark Pyers or someone like that. If somebody had a good call, make sure to tell them that, because they're going to be going and looking at the comments, and everybody likes to see a compliment about themselves. So make sure to go do that and be nice and push people up. Okay, and then we also have Machina Opus. Thank you for your support tonight. I appreciate that. Kirkston, Dex, we are out of time. That's why I was.
We're down to the last. I think we're down to the last 4 minutes on YouTube. So.
I was trying my best there. I'm sorry. What happens is the YouTube part of it ends up. YouTube has to be cut off at 2 hours. They don't process it right, and it will take until tomorrow to process the video. So right away, I'm going to say thank you to the people on YouTube. If you do want to watch the shoutro, it's a goofy, it's my goofy music, and I basically say thank you to all the people that matter. You can go over to DLive and continue it. It goes for about 15 to 20 minutes. So thank you so much. Have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Dex, I love you. Marf out. Oh, by the way, I just want to say thank you to Veteran Steve and Gone Girl for making an appearance. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for your support.
on machine, oh but by my side with the Kirks and Bear Claws, Quantum Cat, and they all out of the woods. Everybody's out there and they're all up to no good. Zippy moves and the JW, I think of you. Hey, with the zippy moves